Hey, rockers out there, welcome back to MPJ New Rock Album Review Show. I'm your host, Nigel Matthews. Welcome to my wonderful panel, to Dave Green, to Trish White, and to Paul Matthews. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. That pause after Nigel there, did you forget the second name?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to blast my name out there. It sounds way too egotistical. And I'm not egotistical in the slightest. Not in the slightest. So, what's the show all about? We are reviewing brand new albums, and at the end of the 6 albums we review, we're going to run a results show to find out what our album of the month was, and whether or not they'll reach into our actually Hall of Fame or qualify for the album of the year. So please tune into the results show. So by liking and subscribing to the channel or checking out our channel. Today's band is Akaline Trio, their album Blood, Hair and Eyeballs. Akaline Trio is an American punk rock band from Chicago, Illinois. The band's current members are Matt Skiba on guitars and vocals, Dan Adriano, bass and vocals, and Atom as in Atom Bomb, Willard on drums. Founded in late '96 by Skiba, bassist Rob Duran and drummer Glenn Porter, Akaline Trio released his debut single Sundowners in '87. Following its release, Duran departed from the band and was replaced by Adriano, who occupied the role as co-lead vocalist alongside Skiba. The band subsequently recorded an EP for Your Lungs Only and debut studio album God Damn It in '98. Following release of the band's second album, Maybe I'll Catch Your Fire, Porter left the band and was replaced by Mike Fellamley, and his subsequent album From Here to Eternity in 2001. It goes on, but they're back. Blood, Hair and Eyeballs. I mean, who can I start with that would give us all of those? It's got to be Paul, because he's full of blood, he's got lots of hair, and he'll eyeball you in the face to tell you what he thinks. Let's start with Paul then. Paul, Akaline Trio. What about it, my friend?
I'm almost lost for words again, but
you look him in the eyeballs, bruv. You look him in the eyeballs.
I'm going to look you in the eyeballs. Well, yeah, definitely. So this is Akaline Trio's 10th album, and the accumulation of 26 years of work, which is something remarkable when you think about it. Although known for their punk rock sound and influence, with a new album, Blood, Hair, Eyeballs, which is a saying the singer's mum used to describe working in A&E in a Chicago hospital. They've rendered each track with such immediacy and a melodic intensity that to simply say that this album sounds the same as and also ran would self-label a critic with downright musical condemnation. This is a darkly painted album, with hints of humour shining through it at apt times. The album kicks off with Hot for Preacher, a wink at Van Halen, and a fantastic guitar riff that I'm sure Eddie would be smiling on in himself, that puts the track more in the metal arena. From there, we are taken across a whole range of musical intensity. I can honestly hold up my hand and swear there's not a bad track on the album. Everyone has hit my playlist, even Interlude, which is an interlude, which is an introduction to Broken Down in a Time Machine. Favourites are Hot for Preacher, Scars, Version of You, Broken Down in a Time Machine, and Teenage Heart. This, so far, has to be my album of the year.
Wowzers. Yeah, I mean, your favourite tracks was pretty much the album you reeled off there, to be honest with you. Which is
there was more.
Oh, well, talk about the lack of blood and the lack of hair, because, he always looks a bit pasty, doesn't he?
Plenty of hair, thank you very much.
Dave Green, Akaline Trio, what do you think?
I'm a big fan of this band already, so I'm coming from a fairly biased position.
Really?
I've got quite a few of their albums. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. So I was expecting much of the same when I sort of put the album on. I was expecting, sort of pop punk, that sort of vibe. And this actually wasn't surprising. It was, as Paul said, very different in places. It's not necessarily to their same style. but it's in that same sort of ballpark still. Really, really, really strong throughout. I've struggled to pick a bad song on the album. I think the more that I listen to this, the more it's going to grow on me. The mark that I gave it, if you gave me another month, I think it would probably be higher than that, to be completely fair. But this is one that's going to be listened to quite a bit, and I'd be very surprised, depending on how other people score this, if it doesn't get, into the sort of end of the year sort of category. I think this is a very, very strong album. It could definitely be in there. Again, it all depends on how other people mark it, Nige.
What? Don't look at me, bro. I mean, hey, well, wait and find out. Right, well, let's go to Trish. She's hot-blooded. Her hair is golden and gorgeous, and you can look into the depths of her eyes and be lost there forever. It's Trish Green, our beloved rock chick. Trish, tell us.
Trish Green?
Trish Green.
I didn't know my...
Sorry, you're obviously married to Dave Green.
Green now.
Suddenly I've conjoined the two of you together. Whoopsie. Whoopsie, maybe I've slipped up there. Who knows? Sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I mean, you don't be saddled with this witch, do you?
No,
Trish.
you don't.
Trish.
Okay, moving swiftly on. I listened to this album a couple of times, and sound-wise, it reminded me of the Vaccines with the music and vocals. All catchy songs on the album, but nothing stood out for me as a special track. I found it was a good listen to have on in the background. It's solid, great competition in the genre of rock, just not enough to make me want to keep it on my playlist, unfortunately. Sorry, Dave. Sorry. This is why you're not conjoined to me now, right?
Oh, it's awful. Awful.
And can I just point out here, you're all looking at me, all right? And he should have been looking, at Trish White here to blow your bubble, not me. Or will I? When punk does rock, it tends not to work for me. When rock does punk, yet more towards the rock with overtones of punk, it works for me and it works well. And this is exactly what this album does. It comes more from a rock perspective with a punk influence than the other way around. And I thought it was absolutely terrific. It's a real cracker of an album, absolute cracker of an album. Scars, Hot for Preacher, I love the tip. I'm a massive Van Halen, but it wasn't Van Halen. But Hot for Preacher was just great. That was, what an opener to an album. And actually, interestingly, David, unlike you, I know it's a grower, and I'll adjust my marks accordingly, rather than being stuck and going, and then in years to come, months and months to come, you'll go, Nigel, I wish I'd voted then, I wish I'd given it more, then, and you moan about it, and you go, damn, wish I'd given it back then with more points.
I think you're throwing shade at someone there.
Well, you do. You have to. I mean, you vote. It is a point in time vote, but my as I listened more to this album, it did get better and better and better. And Paul's right. There isn't really a weak track on this album. It is a traffic. Was it my perfect album? No, but it was fine. It's a real crack of an album. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'd look forward to if they kept with this style of kind of more rocky bass with that punk influence. I think I'll get it. I think that'd be a real band I'm going to look forward to.
They've always been a punk band with a much darker tinge to them than what you would associate with your Green Day, your Blink-182. Funnily enough, the singer was in Blink-182 for a short time recently when one of them left. Yeah. Okay.
No, I really enjoyed it. Thoroughly cracking album. Do you agree, people out there? Do you? Why don't you leave a comment? What do you think? Why not? And while you're there, hit the like and subscribe button, please. It helps us get the word out there. And tune in, because if you're listening to this show, the result show is going to be following the day after, because this is the last of the albums we reviewed this month on with this posse. But thank you very much to my wonderful panel today, to Paul Matthews, to David Green, and to Trish White. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep safe out there, and keep on rocking, and keep rock alive. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye for now.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.